Hey, and welcome to another episode of Late Night with Take Three. I'm still not Brooklyn Vale. Brooklyn Vale kind of got lost on the way to the studio. He's probably in the middle of Texas at the moment. But yeah, but so I'm here taking charge again, and I've got a really great panel to talk about animated characters. I've got Buddy from Take Three, Matthew Kearns. Matthew, how's it going?
It's going good. It's good night. It's really hot in New York, but it's cooled down a bit, which is nice. So I won't be dying for the next hour or however long this late night with Take Three will be. And where's Brooklyn been? I miss him. I miss his laugh.
Yeah, I don't know where Brooklyn is too. I sent out a homing pigeon to try and find him. He might be able to find him by next week. Who knows? But we've got Caleb Boatman. Caleb, how's it going?
Hi, I'm not Brooklyn, but I know something about music. It was invented by George Musicson in 1822. That's it.
We don't have Brooklyn here to tell us that's wrong, so I'm going to say it's true. So.
No, it's a fact now.
It's
if
a fact.
It was wrong, it is not wrong anymore. I have changed history.
But yeah. And like as always, we're going to start with a game. I'm going to start with just a simple game of shenanigans, and so the order is going to go. I'm going to ask, say, a movie, and Caleb will say an actor that was in that movie, and then and Matt says a movie. Yeah.
Okay.
You all know how it works. Because we've all played it before. But anyway, I'm going to start with something not simple as I look to my movie list. And
What's
I'm going
the
to
order? I'm sorry.
It's going to go me, Caleb, then.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to start with a simple one. Superman Returns.
Oh, and you're going to me. It goes to me now?
Yeah.
Okay. James Marsden.
X-Men.
Halle Berry.
Monsters Ball.
Billy Bob Thornton.
Yeah.
The Bad News Bears.
True. Oh, but the 05 one. Good luck.
Yeah.
Dang. Oh, you might have gotten me because
he's the soul.
Shenanigans.
You did to yourself, Malcolm.
Yeah, no, you named a movie.
Yeah, I did it to myself.
I'm just leaving this up now to see if there's literally anyone notable.
I think there is other notable people in there. I just don't know.
That's why I'm looking.
I think in my mind I had. Yeah, I should have said Bad Center, but
Greg Kinnear is in it. He's kind of notable.
Yeah.
I know Greg Kinnear's notable. I didn't know he was in that.
Yeah, Greg Kinnear's kind of the only.
But anyway, Caleb, you get to start fresh, and it's just between you and Kearns now.
Okay, Men in Black.
Vincent D'Onofrio.
Full Metal Jacket.
Oh no! Oh no, I'm blanking on his name. I think I'm confusing with another one. Willem Dafoe is in Full Metal Jacket. He's in Platoon.
Yeah, that's Platoon.
That's Platoon. Yeah. Okay.
I'm pretty sure the one you were thinking of is Ali Umri, who voiced Sarge in Toy Story. Was that the one you?
Yeah.
No, that wasn't. No, I confused Full Metal Jacket and Platoon, and I thought Dafoe. You can't confuse Dafoe for him, Malcolm.
Yeah. Other people in that movie, Matthew Modine.
Yeah.
Is also in it.
but,
I've never
I mean,
seen Full Metal Jacket.
yeah.
So
Billy Belford said Spader. I don't know if James
Spader?
Spader is in.
James Spader's in that? Oh shit!
James Spader, I don't think is in Full Metal Jacket unless he was like a
He
small.
might be. I don't know.
But because that game went quicker than what I anticipated, we're going to do it. Just do another one. And Caleb, because you won, you can go first.
All right. Toy
Yeah.
Story the original.
Oh, it's me now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wallace Shawn.
The Princess Bride.
I'm not. I could say Andre the Giant, but I'm not gonna be mean like that. Carrie Elways.
Twister.
Is Carrie Elways in Twister?
Yes, he is. He's the rival Storm Chaser.
Oh, did not know that.
He's also going to be in My City later this year.
Oh, that's cool, man. Oh,
Is
what
he-
is he
he's-
in the Black Christmas remake?
He is.
Talking about that.
But I always get these names confused. But Helen Hunt.
Yep.
Yes. I could just be mean and end Kearns right here, but I won't do that. Let's go with As Good as It Gets. Oh, come on,
I've never
Kearns.
seen the movie. I don't shenanigans. I don't fucking whatever. I've never seen the movie, so I'm out.
Yeah, Jack Nicholson or Greg Kinnear, Cuba Gooding Jr., Billy Loomis, Jimmy Kennedy.
So yeah. But yeah, I get to start fresh. It's been a while since I've ever had to do this. And I'm going to go Kingsman: The Golden Circle.
I could just end you right now and say Elton John, but I won't be mean like that, Malcolm. So I'll just go with Julianne Moore.
Silence of the Lambs.
No, she's not in Silence of the Lambs. She's in Hannibal.
Yeah, I knew it was one of them. I always
It's Jodie Foster who's in Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, I knew she was in one of them. I couldn't remember if it was Julianne Moore taking over from Jodie Foster or vice versa. Damn it. Caleb wins again.
Okay,
But anyway, we're going to go into the main topic. Straight off the bat, because Caleb doesn't know if he'll be here the whole time, so we'll switch it up. Do the main topic now because why not? I'm taking over the show, so we can do it whatever we want. But yeah,
two plugs now actually.
but yeah, and a bit like we've got Toy Story 4 coming out this weekend. Not here though. We get it in a few weeks because of school holidays. But and actually we'll start there. Matt, what are your feelings for Toy Story 4?
I haven't seen it yet. A lot of my friends who their judgment on film is similar to mine. I've seen different things from them. Personally, I'm still of the mindset where I don't think this movie needs to exist, but I'm gonna go into it and try to enjoy it. At the end of the day, when I go to a movie, that's all I want. I've been seeing it a lot that it's the weakest of the Toy Story series, which doesn't get me excited. Like I wish I was, but as long as it's a good movie, then I guess I'll be happy. And if it's not, from what I've been hearing, I don't think it's bad enough to tarnish the trilogy, which is all I want, because I don't want to have, when they announced Toy Story 4, that was my biggest fear is like, what if it's bad and it just like ruins the whole series? But it doesn't seem like it's that. It seems like a real, just like odd continuation. But so I'm hoping to go and see it soon. Probably not next week, but maybe the week after.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely seen some sort of mixed like reactions from like other people who sort of like saying that they didn't need it, that it didn't need to happen, but that they're grateful that it did because it's one of those ones which is definitely interesting. But Caleb, what are your feelings about Toy Story franchise and Toy Story 4 as well?
Yeah, well, as far as Toy Story 4, I just saw it today, and I actually think it's really fantastic. I think it's probably at this point better than the third one, in my opinion. I am in the Cody Newberry, Robert Parker camp of the third one being the weakest. I'm not like Robert Parker where I think it's bad. I think it's still and Robert Parker would tell you he doesn't think it's bad either, but I think it's a pretty great movie. I think it's the weakest of the three and now weakest of the four. I think as far as Toy Story 4 goes, I think, yes, Toy Story 3 had a lot of like big closure, but it had some things that you kind of realize as you're watching Toy Story 4, okay, this excuse me, okay, this made a little bit of sense. Like this would happen. I don't want to say too much because since you guys haven't seen it, I don't want to spoil anything, but it really does make the most sense for the conclusion of these characters. But I will say where Woody is at like within the first 10-15 minutes of this movie is a really fascinating development to his character. And I don't want to say too much more than that, but if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but yeah, like Woody and Buzz are like among some of my favorite animated characters out there. Like, so they're just, even though they're toys, they really encapsulate how kids feel when they're playing with them. Like imagining some of what the toys sound like.
Their personalities and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm sure a lot of people when they're playing with cowboy toys, they think of Tom Hanks straight off the bat.
Yeah.
But yeah, like some of my other favorite like anime characters out there, like SpongeBob will always be there for me. Like he's one that I watched so much when I was a kid. Like, and even when I was older, I still went to the theaters to see the SpongeBob movies. I quite often I may have been the only adult there, but I still went to the theaters to watch them. But yeah, Matt, what are some of your favorite anime characters?
Buzz Lightyear is definitely up there for me as one of my favorites. Some other ones, Giant from Iron Giant and Hogarth from that movie. That's my favorite animated film, and those two characters figure pretty much after the entire cast of characters from Iron Giant. They're all amazing. The General, Christopher McDonald's, FBI, Kip Mansley, worked for the government. That entire cast. Other ones, Stan from South Park has always been one of my favorite characters. And then Blue from Foster Some from Imaginary Friends. I loved that show when I was a kid, and Blue was I always wanted Blue. When I would think of an imaginary friend, I thought of Blue.
You're my boy, Blue.
You're my boy, Blue.
But Caleb, what are some of your favorite animated characters?
Yeah, I've got a ton because I love me some animated movies. As far as like straight up Disney animation goes, because I'm a big Disney animated guy. I love Lilo. I love Stitch too, but Lilo from Lilo and Stitch is the best written child character in anything ever, in my opinion. I think that movie and Lilo's character in particular really understands how kids think, and I think that's something that's really, really hard to get right in terms of writing and stuff. And yeah, she's hilarious. She's weird. She's quirky. And yeah, I think Lilo is one of the best written child characters ever. And she's fantastic in that movie. And Stitch is great too. Nani's fantastic. Pleakley, Jumba, Gantu. Everybody in that movie is great. Other people, I would say, as far as like a fun side character I love Edna Mode, No Capes. She's fantastic. Syndrome, as far as like a villain goes. And then other people, Wally. I don't love that movie as much as everybody else, but that character is fantastic. I think the biggest one is the genie in Aladdin. I think that's kind of the go-to answer for like just fantastic character. And then I would actually say, as far as like from a smaller movie, Gigi from Kiki's Delivery Service, voiced by Phil Hartman. Fantastic character.
Yeah, and like Caleb, you brought up an interesting point but early when you brought up the genie. A lot of times with animated characters, it doesn't so matter how the character's written. Quite often, it's the voice given to that character which is what defines them. It's like whenever when anyone talks about the genie, they don't sort of go. A lot of times, I've heard of it. It's like, wow, the genie is a well-written character. A lot of times, people are going, like Robin Williams really personifies the genie.
And that's partially with Robin Williams, partly because he improvised like 70% of the genie's dialogue. Like he basically wrote that character.
Yeah, and that's thing is that's one of the criticisms that a lot of people had when the new Aladdin was coming out. Is like Will Smith is never going to live up to Robin Williams, which is pretty hard to do as regardless as it is, but like that's why Will Smith took the genie and made it his own and put his own spin on it. But like, what are some of your favorite sort of voices to characters that sort of did a similar sort of thing? Matt, I'll start with you.
Well, I mean, Robin Williams is the go-to, and for stuff like that, I think Mike Myers in Shrek was fantastic. Mark Hamill's the Joker really gave his own spin on that character, and he made the character hilarious at times, and then also really, really scary. Matt Lantern in Star Wars: The Clone Wars as Anakin. His interpretation of Anakin is fantastic, and it's one of the reasons why I love the character of Anakin is really because of his performance in the movie but mostly from the show. And D. Bradley Baker as all the aliens in Ben 10, and Perry the Platypus, he is just like a guru when it comes to animated characters. When you look at his resume of like how many times he must have just because D. Bradley Baker, for people who don't know, he plays all the clones in the Clone Wars TV show. So when there are episodes that are solely devoted to the clones, that is D. Bradley Baker just sitting in a room talking to himself. It is impressive. That is impressive. That takes skill.
Yeah.
So those are some of the voices just off the top of my head.
Oh yeah, like definitely like. And you find that for a lot of these superhero TV shows in which you'll find that the same actor is playing multiple characters in that show. But Caleb, what are some of your favorite sort of actors, voice actors, or
Well, I think as far as like just straight up like voice acting where it like ties to the character, Sterling Holloway as Winnie the Pooh in the original Winnie the Pooh movie. Like that voice, and then the fact that he also voiced Kaa in the Jungle Book, like it's basically the same voice, but they feel like such separate characters. When you think of it, like you don't even think about them being the same voice, but they are, and that's great. Others, I would say Patton Oswalt as Remy is absolutely fantastic. His narration, everything like that makes that movie. George Clooney in Fantastic Mr. Fox, I think. He has that attitude down pat. Like, it's absolutely perfect. Really, everybody in that movie is great, but I would say George Clooney is definitely the standout. Cusco from The Emperor's New Groove, David Spade. I think he has that really cocky attitude. I would honestly say that's David Spade's best performance. And then also from The Emperor's New Groove, Patrick freaking Warburton in The Emperor's New Groove is Kronk. I think when anybody hears that voice, you either think of Family Guy or you think of Kronk. And I think of Kronk. And just everything in that movie that's hilarious. Like 90% of that is him just being amazing. And then Mike Wazowski, voiced by Billy Crystal. I think everything about that voice and the attitude, it's just hilarious. Billy Crystal has that like old school vaudevillian timing thing going on, and it's fantastic.
But yeah, I mean, Patrick Warburton is definitely a multi-talented one, which has done a lot of like voices in movies. There's like everything from Kronk to Family Guy, and I think he was in Hoodwinked as well.
He plays the wolf. Plays the wolf in Hoodwinked.
The Wolf in Hoodwinked. He's in like a couple other Disney animated movies. He's in everything basically.
But yeah, but I mean, there's a lot of iconic ones. But one that I'm surprised didn't come up, especially with both of them being Batman fans, is Kevin Conroy's Batman. Like,
I never watched Batman the Animated Series as a kid. I was that was a little before my time, so that's why I didn't bring up Kevin Conroy as Batman, because I've never seen an episode of the animated series.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people which is just known for voice acting. Like Kevin Conroy is one of them. Nolan North, Troy Baker, Laura Bailey. Pretty much anyone that is on Critical Role is known as a voice actor on some form or another. But
I have some in the live chat. Billy Belford, shout out. He says Iago from Aladdin, Megan Phil Hercules, Eddie Murphy in Shrek and Mulan. And he says Pat Carroll as Ursula is very underrated. And Steve Carell as Gru is great.
Yeah. But yeah, Pat Carroll playing Ursula, like, I mean, I didn't actually know the name of her before until now, but like her as a villain, is one of those ones in which it's so great and so menacing that it does scare like the most youngest of kids when they're watching it, and it's one of those performances that you're not going to be able to replicate perfectly in live action. You need someone of that same gravitas, and I don't know who you'd get to do Ursula in a live action film, but
you working on your spoonsmanship, Malcolm? I'm sorry. Also, what you were saying before, you're like Ursula, she could scare the youngest kids. Malcolm, it's okay to be scared by Ursula still. It's okay. It's fine. Okay.
But anyway,
that joke didn't land like I thought it would have. That's the title of my second memoir.
But anyway, there's so much more we can talk about when it comes to animated characters. Like, we can go so ages. And Billy just brought up another one. Angela Lansbury as Mrs. Potts is,
which you've heard the story, I assume, both of you. But to anyone watching who hasn't heard the story about the song, Tales of This Time, she, for whatever reason, didn't want to sing it. She didn't want to sing it, and she was like, all right, fine. I will sing it for you once. And so the version that is in the movie is her one and only time singing the song. That's just crazy to me to think that it's like such a famous song, so connected to the movie. If I'm not mistaken, probably won the Oscar that year. And she wanted nothing to do with it. Which I'm just thinking, that's such a weird thing. What was it about the song? She just was like, I don't want to sing this.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's probably something we'd have to ask her. But I think it could just be like the way the song is written. Is that
we should try?
But yeah, it's yeah. I mean, we'll never know why she didn't really want to sing this song, but the fact she did it just the once, and that's the one that and she did it perfectly. It just strangely works because a lot of people still talk about that song till now. So
Yes. We should get Angela Lansbury on Late Night. Take 3. Can you imagine that? Everyone watching, tweet at Angela Lansbury. Does she have Twitter? I don't know. Find out she has Twitter.
I didn't even know she was still alive.
Yeah. She was in Mary Poppins Returns from last year. She's the
Yeah, I don't watch
lady.
that.
Oh, you haven't seen her? Okay. No, yeah, she still's alive. And she will be on Late Night with Take 3. That is our next job. Get Angela Lansbury on here.
But yeah, going to move on and talk about some movie news that dropped. Just today they announced next year's Walk of Fame honorees. As I get it up. Ugh. But yeah, just so I can read it and see things. But yeah, so we've got some interesting picks, and some that I'm surprised haven't already been in there. But being inducted into the Walk of Fame, we've got Chris Hemsworth, who I think you all will know from many things.
Yeah, it's Snow White and the Huntsman.
Yeah.
Okay.
Julia Roberts is getting inducted. We've got Octavia Spencer. We've got an actress, an actor called Lee Roberts. I don't know who that is.
Robert?
Well, yeah, we've got Julia Roberts and we've got Lee Roberts. So, and Batman is getting inducted. Just the character Batman. We've got talk show hosts Andy Cohen and Wendy Williams. Christina Applegate from Married with Children's being inducted. Terry Crews from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. 50 Cent is getting inducted. Alicia Keys, Billy Idol, Tanya Tucker. Billy Potter is also being inducted alongside Dave Chappelle. And Andy Kaufman and someone else is being inducted posthumously. Muddy Waters, they're all being inducted. So we've got a interesting cast of inductees. Caleb, I'll start with you. Is there any standouts in this list?
To me, like there, like one that was like surprising was like that Julia Roberts wasn't, on the Walk of Fame yet, because I just would have assumed she was. But other than that, like there are some, like everyone else, that basically makes sense why they're not on yet. Like Terry Crews, he more just, Brooklyn Nine-Nine was like this decade, so like that makes sense. Like he's still in like his new, like there's nobody who has like been a superstar for 20 plus years like Julia Roberts. Actually, really 30 plus years like Julia Roberts. Like they're like Billy Idol, he was big in the 80s, kind of flopped in the 90s with that Cyberpunk album, which actually isn't that bad in my opinion. Anyway, though, I think like everybody else, it kind of makes sense why it took them this long to make it in. The one person who I'm actually very happy is making it in is Andy Kaufman, because that man is a genius. His ice cream routine is one of the most hilarious things you will ever see. Yeah.
Matt, is there any sort of standouts in this Walk of Fame?
Well, first thing, Lee Roberts, he was an actor mostly known for doing westerns back in the 50s, and he passed away in 1989, so he is also getting a posthumous star. But Batman is a big one. That's pretty cool. We were talking about before we went live how cool it would be to have like all the living Batman actors there. Like that would just be so cool if you had them all. Terry Crews definitely is a cool one, but yeah, Julia Roberts not having one is. I mean, it's if you know how getting a star on the Walk of Fame, like this whole petition, it is just weird. Maybe she didn't want it until now, but it is interesting that for someone who has been steadily working to just have not gotten one yet. But I know Mark Hamill and William Shatner are trying to petition to get Carrie Fisher one. That happened on Twitter earlier this week.
Oh,
so
she definitely deserves
hopefully next year.
If Hamill has one, she definitely.
I definitely think there will come a time in which like
guys, Mark Hamill and William Shatner are agreeing on something, guys. Okay, and if you follow them on Twitter, you know they rarely do this. Did you guys see them with the Star Trek symbol that was found on Mars? My God, the two of them, we don't deserve either one of them. They're amazing.
But yeah, regarding getting Angela Lansbury on late night, Billy Belford says in the chat that she probably won't know how Google Hangouts work because apparently grandparents and Ben Bateman can't use Google Hangouts.
You're so funny, Billy. You know what he does know how to use? A chair.
But yeah, Ben Bateman does like to share stuff around. But on that note, because there isn't actually a lot of sort of other noticeable movie news out there. There is a big Schmoedown event coming up this weekend. It's Schmoedown Collision. Going to talk about predictions. I'll try and avoid spoiling today, so we probably won't talk about the number one contenders match that's happening there because
maybe just say like without saying who the person is, say our prediction. Like if we say like we feel like the person who won today is going to win, or if Paul we feel is going to win.
Yeah, no, so that's actually pretty fair. But so yeah, so on the card we've got the Manager Bowl, and we've got Drew McManey taking on Stacey Howard, taking on Janine, taking on why am I blanking on John Roker,
Eric Zipper.
And Eric Zipper. I just kept forgetting on which manager I had already mentioned as a representative. But Matt, sort of, who do you think is going to win the Manager Bowl?
I think the Manager Bowl this year is. I like how they're doing it, where it's the managers are being represented. I think with this season being the season of factions, that was a really smart thing to do. They're kind of pushing that, having the managers pick one of the people in their stable, and then of course whoever wins gets control for, I think it's a month, they said, of the commissioners. I think Stacey and Janine are two of the most underrated competitors in this Schmoedown. So it's hard to say. I think I'm gonna say Janine. I'll give it to Janine. I know Janine. I've talked to her recently. I think she could pull it out, and even though Malcolm, you know how badly I don't want to vote against my boy Tom, because I would love to see Tom in charge, but I'll give it up to Janine.
And Caleb, sort of, who do you think is going to win the Manager's Bowl?
To me, I think it's probably between Roka, Janine, and Drew McWeeny. But I think Janine and Drew have both shown that they're a little bit inconsistent and a little bit shaky. Roka, of course, has shown that he can be inconsistent and shaky, but when Roka hits, he hits it out of the park. And I don't think that Drew and Janine quite hit it as much as Roka does. I think the most likely answer is Roka, meaning Tom Dagnino would win. But Drew or Janine do have the niche knowledges to pull off the win, because they are good at things that most competitors are not good at. Janine is great at romantic comedies. Drew is great at classics.
for me, I'm actually going to go with John Roker on this. I think John Roker is maybe the safe pick, but it's also one of those ones which like everyone is really strong. It's going to come down to sort of what questions are asked and what comes up. So I mean, for me, the most shocking one that could happen would be if Eric Zipper somehow manages to win.
I think if Eric Zipper wins, we're all gonna be like,
It's like,
okay. And then Kaiser will be in control for a month. Imagine that.
I mean, yeah, I don't know who I want in charge least and see sort of what craziness will happen. But if both Kaiser and Tom are put in charge, who knows what's going to happen? But the next matches we're going to go to the number one contenders match. So we've got Paul versus it's either Liz Shannon Miller or JTE's the winner of today. But Matt, who do you think is going to win?
This is really hard because I don't think we've ever done anything like this. I think the person who won the match today will be walking away with the win. I'm gonna just leave it at that because it's hard to expand upon that without spoiling today's match. So I'll just stick it with the person who won today. I think will be winning at Collision.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And Caleb, who do you think will win today? That Collision.
I do not think that the person who won today will win. I think the person who won today has knowledge. I think they also showed some gaps, and I think that person might not have won had the questions been a bit more balanced in round 2, and that's all I'll say about that. I think that Paul really, based on, like, if you look at the scores of round 1, they were not super great. Again, I won't get into specifics if you haven't watched the match, but the round 1 score is not great. I think Paul, knowing how much he knows, I think Paul will be able to destroy. I'm honestly predicting a TKO or better.
But yeah, and I think that that Paul will pull out the victory here. And without going into too specifics about this match,
Yeah, this is a real hard one to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, all I'll say about the doubleheader today, one of the matches was more entertaining. One of the ones was better scoring.
Certainly a way to put it.
You can get, but anyway, now we've got that match out of the way but yeah, we've got Smets versus Kalinowski, and I'm going to go to Caleb first on this one. Caleb, who do you think will win out between Kevin and Kalinowski?
I have absolutely no idea. Look, Smets is a beast, but so is Mike. They both study incredibly hard. They both don't really appear to have a lot of weak points. So this is tough. Honestly, I'm gonna say because Mike hasn't played since he lost the title, I'm gonna give the edge to Smets, but it's really anybody's game.
And Matt, Smets or Kalinowski, who do you got?
I really don't know. Whoever I pick today could change tomorrow because I think Smets does have the most recent playing. He does have that, but Mike has also been, since he lost, he's pretty much just been studying to get back, to get to this position, and he definitely wants that belt. Oh, it's hard to say. I will say right here, I'll say Mike just because I think, even though, not to say Kevin doesn't want it, but I think Mike just wants to reclaim his belt from Rachel more than Kevin wants to get the belt. And I think also if Kevin loses here, it's not going to be too long before he's back in #1 contention again. So, yeah, I'll say Mike. But again, tomorrow, I could say Kevin. So
Yeah, this is tough for me. Is like, as long as Mike remembered to put the letters in the right place where he's studying, and so he doesn't have a Ninko situation. But I think and I mean I hate going against Kevin because I do think Kevin has what it takes to be able to beat. I mean, arguably, this is probably Kevin's first major challenge that
it is
he's
100%,
actually had.
and I don't. That's nothing against his other competitors. I just think this is the first time he's playing, to quote Rocky 3, someone who has the eye of the tiger, who's hungry. You know, this is the first time he's playing that, and that's why it can go either way because both of these guys are really, really good at inner geekdom.
Yeah, I mean, the way I was kind of going with it is like it's the first time he's played someone who's played very like in a geekdom sort of recently than the other ones. Like his first one was against Wookie. I can't. Then he went up against two veterans who sort of haven't played IG for a while.
Yeah,
there's Navarro,
Jay, and then he played Navarro. And you know, Navarro hasn't played since he lost the belt, and Jay played. He didn't even, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think he got past round 1 of the tournament last year.
No, it was he lost it. Emma, I believe.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think he lost Emma.
Because that was the same day that Emma got defeated by Janine. But
yeah, that's right. It was the devil. Yep, double header.
Yep. Yeah. So I've got Mike Kalinowski by just a hair, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's a match that goes for about 50 million sudden death questions.
Oh, yeah. This is going to be a battle. It's the same thing that I think we all said for the throwdown between Rachel and Mike, where it's just whoever messes up first loses. Like, that's what it's going to be. It's going to come down to that.
I'm glad you brought up Rachel because the last match in Collision is the Shirals versus the Odd Couple with the rematch for the belts. And I'm going to start off here. I think Shirals want their belts back. I think they really are hungry. And yes, I think I like the Odd Couple. And I mean, there's a couple of questions that the Shirals did mess up on in the title match, but I think they can easily get those belts back. Caleb, who do you have in the Shirals Odd Couple match?
I think that Odd Couple are good as a team, not as individual players, but they're good complementary players. They really play off each other's skills. I think Rachel and Clark are great individual singles players. I still say that Rachel Cushing is one of the best general movie players. I'd put her in the top 10 as far as general movie knowledge. I don't think people give her enough credit for general movie knowledge. I think Clark is also an absolute beast when it comes to that. But I think they're not as great as complementary players. There's a reason that a team like Blockbuster Video, who, no disrespect to them as individual players, Mike Hanley and Nazario Montenegro don't have super great records in the fan leagues in singles. But as a team, they have consistently shown up to play, and that's because they're great working together. They know how to play as a team. They know how to work off each other's strengths. So that's why, honestly, I'm giving the edge to the Odd Couple.
And Matt, who do you have in Odd Couple Shirals?
Talking about the easiest match for me to pick a winner in. I do not like the Odd Couple. Malcolm, you know this very well. I don't shy away from this. Shirals are going to get their belts back. They are. Go on, Jeff. Comment on this video angrily.
It's not a matter of who you like. It's a matter of, you got to measure the skill and stuff. If it were up to me, Lon Harris would be the next singles. I would be picking him for every single match in eternity. But
I think that Jeff Snyder has been showing recently in all his matches to not be that great. Vendraco has an off game, they're going to lose.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I can kind of see where Matt was going with what he said. Was I think like sometimes it is hard to want to root for someone if you don't like the team. Because I know I've had issues when like I like in the early days of Tom Dagnino, I've struggled wanting to root for the Patriots at times because I used to not really like Tom that much. But he kind of grew on me over time. So, but but with that, I think we've talked about everything we wanted to talk about. I don't think that, unless there's anything else people want to talk about. But yeah. So we'll go to plugs. Caleb, where can people find you on the interwebs?
I run Multiplex Movie Warzone with Brian Michaels and Cody Newberry. We're in the middle of a singles tournament. My match with Dan Skip Allen was the most recent one to be uploaded, so check that out. We got our next match is coming on Sunday. That's going to be Dominic Rizzi versus Mark Aiden Kamari, so check that out.
Matt, where can people find you on the interwebs?
You guys, as always, can find me at Kearns_Matthew on Twitter, MattMovies611 on YouTube and WordPress, and right here as host of Second Look. The episode on Moneyball will be coming out soon, and Rhyme and Reason is on hold for right now. Keep posted to the Facebook group for updates on that. And also follow Action Industries on Twitter. I run their Twitter account. Been doing it for a couple of months now. A lot of fun. We talk about TC Legend, Jerry B. So if you like all that stuff, you should follow that Twitter account.
I've heard a lot about that Jerry B. I don't know what the reference is, but anyway.
Gerard Butler, Jerry B. Gerard Butler.
But anyway, you can find me hosting tons and tons of stuff all over the place. But you can watch me host Rankum every Sunday nights. This week is the 50th episode, and we're talking about top 12 Schmoedown competitors. Caleb's going to be on that. And you can also find me hosting Full Metal Random every Tuesday. And the match this week is an MCU match featuring Take Three's very own Robert Parker, facing Dominic Rizzi, facing Corey Quinto. So it should be a really great match. And you can also find me hosting the upcoming Late TV Fights, which is a TV debating league. The first match is Matthew Kearns versus Jacoby Bancroft. And we just recorded another one today, which was Joe Harrison versus Dustin Mason. Both matches were really great matches, and I can't wait for you to see them. And until next week, see you when we see you, or whatever we want.
You almost did the Rankum outro. I could hear it. You're gonna be like, when we rank them. I don't know. See you on Sunday at Rankum, guys.
Drive safely, unsafe, all that jazz.